As long as one identifies himself as belonging to a certain family, caste, nationality, gender, material qualifications, etc., he is said to be covered with designations or being on the material platform. The materialists are being controlled by the material energy, and devotees are controlled by the Lord. Devotees are those who have realized their constitutional position of being a servant of the Lord, voluntarily accepted their subordinate position to the Lord, and like to be controlled by the Lord. But the materialists deny authority of God and want to be independent, but they are under the material energy, which is under Krishna's control. When one is fully aware that he does not belong to any family, society or country, but is eternally a servant of Krishna, he then realizes that his energy should be employed not in the interests of so-called family, society or country, but in the interests of Krishna. This is purity of purpose and the platform of pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness. Rendering service to Krishna is the natural constitutional position of the living entity. But when the living entity comes into this material world, he forgets Krishna and starts serving so many other fallible soldiers, because of which he is put into suffering. Nobody can refrain from service. A prime minister serves the country, parents serve their children, a clerk serves his boss, an old man who has no companion serves a pet dog. So service is natural for the living entity, just as sugar and sweetness cannot be separated. Similarly, the soul and his service attitude cannot be separated. The living entity can utilize his free will to either serve Krishna in love and devotion, or serve Maya by being rebellious of Krishna. Love of Krishna is in a dormant state in the heart of everyone. At present, we are not able to experience it due to contamination by material association. Therefore, the heart has to be purified of the material association, and that dormant, natural love for Krishna has to be revived. We do not acquire love of Krishna, but we revive love of Krishna. Acquire means to achieve something which you don't have. Revive means to get back what we already possessed. Love of Krishna is like a fiery coal covered by the contamination of ash. Once the ash is blown off, the fire can be perceived. Similarly, when contaminations are removed through surrendering to Krishna's instructions, one can perceive love of Krishna in one's heart. Under the guidance of an expert spiritual master, one should follow certain principles. One should rise early in the morning, take a bath, enter the temple and offer prayers, and chant Hare Krishna. Then collect flowers and offer to the deity. Cook foodstuffs, to offer to the deity, take prasadam, and so on. One should constantly hear the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam from pure devotees. This practice of Bhakti Yoga under the rules and regulations with the direction of a spiritual master will surely bring one to the stage of love of God.
Mamaivaamsho jivaloke jivabhutas sanatanaha manashashtani indriyani prakritisthani karshati.
The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind. Everyone is part and parcel of Krishna, and therefore everyone's senses are also Krishna's. When we use the senses for Krishna's service, we attain the perfection of life. When we use our senses for sense gratification, we are in Maya, illusion. But when we use our senses for the gratification of the master of the senses, Krishna, that service is called Bhakti. In our conditional state, our senses are engaged in serving our bodily pushings like urges of speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, genitals, etc. When the same senses are engaged in executing the order of Krishna, our activities are called Bhakti. The eternal loving relationship between the living entity and Krishna is established by connecting oneself with the bona fide spiritual master, who is the direct representative of Krishna in disciplic succession through initiation. Therefore, the execution of Krishna conscious activities with the body should be directed by the spiritual master and then performed with faith. From the date of initiation by the spiritual master, the connection between Krishna and a person cultivating Krishna consciousness is established. Without initiation by a bona fide spiritual master, the actual connection with Krishna consciousness is never performed. The living entities in their constitutional position love to become servant or the servant of the servants of Krishna. Lord Krishna, the all-attractive supreme enjoyer and personality of Godhead, is the object of everyone's love and service. Every living being out of the many, many billions and trillions of living beings has a particular relationship with the Lord eternally in a passive state, Shanta Ras, in an active state, Dasya Ras, as a friend, Sakhya Ras, as a parent, Vatsalya Ras, or as a conjugal lover, Madhurya Ras. This is called Svarupa. By the process of devotional service, one can revive that Svarupa, and that stage is called Svarupa Siddhi, perfection of one's constitutional position. In the spiritual sky, everyone serves the Lord according to his own Svarupa with spontaneous love. In the material world, when a devotee chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra and fixes his mind constantly on the lotus feet of Krishna, he is no longer on the material plane.